Reggie here again. Today's topic is going to be on being a boss. There's a difference between being a boss and being a leader. A boss is someone who rises to power and through going through the ranks and learning each section of the job. And then there's those that are just, they walk in and they're promoted right up to a certain spot, either by the way they handle themselves in their interview or the way that they just obtain the job itself. Those are the kind of people that, because they didn't work the way up, don't understand and generally make bad bosses. You should be able to go to your boss, talk to him about anything at any time with an open door policy to keep peace and harmony in whatever shop, factory, restaurant, or anything else that you're in. A lot of bosses today, they lie to you, they manipulate you, they work you to death, and they don't pay you for it. They don't recognize you for all of your accomplishments. They don't recognize you for anything. And when they do, they give you a little tiny plaque that you can hang on your wall. And what did you give them to get that plaque? Lots and lots and lots and lots of money that you made. Now, as a result, you get a plaque. You got bills to pay. You've got a family to take care of. You've got a house payment. You've got a car payment just like they do. You've got bills just like they do. So why would you not have the same response that you would get from that you did for them and get a check in return? Why not? Here's $1,000, thank you very much. That's better than a $25 plaque that somebody had made that you can hang on your wall. You can't eat it, it can't do nothing for you. Because you're a boss doesn't mean everybody in the plant or the shop or wherever you're at, doesn't mean they have to hate you. You should be friends. The more harmony, the more you know. The more you know, the more you can keep everything running smoothly. I worked in a factory years ago, and the boss was sleeping with other people, all the girls, all the time, and in return gave them light loads of work where everybody else had to make up for it. It was just a little candy factory, a little piddly-ass job, nothing major. One of my first jobs in my life, and we all decided to get together and go talk to the boss about it. Well, it ended up being me going and talking to the boss about it, and we really didn't get nowhere. Bill was a running back kind of guy, short, stocky, full of power, built everywhere. He had a nice looking attitude. He was intelligent, but he was arrogant, and he thought his shit didn't stink and he was better than the rest, and he acted that way in everything. He wasn't a boss per se, even though he owned the company, because he didn't micromanage. And part of business is micromanaging it, making sure that everything is running smooth and that everybody that works for you is happy. A happy employee is a productive employee. A miserable one and a disgruntled one, not so much. Long story short, he did nothing about it. He just let it go and said he thought we were all just exaggerating on the situation. Down the road, we had this same argument again, and everybody was still getting pissed, and Greg was still sleeping with everybody, and Bill still wasn't caring, and I was Greg's friend, and I was kind of like a leader at the time because everybody just looked up to me. I didn't take no shit from nobody, etc. So they all asked me if I would go talk to Bill again, and I told them yes I would, but you guys all have to come with me. And they all did. They all had my back until Bill and I got in the argument, and then everybody sat there and not said one word and left me standing there taking the heat from everybody, for everybody, and it wasn't right. And then Bill pushed the wrong buttons and told me I belonged in Vietnam. He said it would straighten my attitude out. And I looked at him and said, you were in Vietnam and it didn't do jack shit for you. And it didn't. He was just an arrogant prick. So he got up and he pushed me on my chest, and I hit the wall, and I bounced off the wall, and I took my hands and my legs were bent, and I hit him up under his breastplate and lifted him up, and right through the plate glass window he went, and I lost my job. Needless to say, it was no big deal. It was just a job. You can walk, at that time, you could walk right next door and pick up another job. Everybody knew me. Everybody knew the type of worker I was and how hard I worked and never took a break. I didn't need lunch, nothing. When I got paid to do a job, I sat and I did my job to its absolute best, and you got the most amount of production out of it. Did I get rewarded for it? Not really. Every once in a while, I'd get a raise for a quarter or a nickel. Big deal. I mean, I'm making them millions and millions, and I'm getting nickels and dimes. What the hell? Then you have these managers like I had at, I worked for an AMF bowling league, and the manager's name was Keith, and he had taken over from a place in Youngstown. He was more of a factory boss. He never ran a bowling alley / bar. And at the time, I managed a bar that was inside the bowling alley. And I took care of all the entertainment, etc. When Keith came in, he wanted everything done his way. Now, I worked for AMF, but Keith was my boss. So when AMF is yelling at me that I'm doing things the way Keith wants me to, and I'm not producing enough liquor sales and enough entertainment sales, etc., then my job's on the line. So I take my time, my money, because they were not going to pay me for it. They were not going to go out of their way and give me overtime, etc. And just, I went out and I found new avenues. I found new liquor dealers. I found new bands. I found new forms of entertainment, and I started bringing them in. And my bar started making really good money, but I wasn't doing it the way Keith wanted me to, so him and I fought. Now, during this 10-year span of my life, AMF went through a bankruptcy and asked if we would wait. And at the time, if we would wait for a raise, we would get a good raise. And at the time, I made $10 an hour. I worked 80 to 100 hours a week. Plus, I made primo tips on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night. So I had nothing to worry about. I'm like, sure, I'll wait. And in that time, that's when Keith took over. So it comes time to the point where, let's go, time to get a raise. Keith calls me in the office, and because him and I had butted heads so many times, he goes, this is what I think you're worth for not doing things my way, the way they're supposed to be done. I am your boss, and it's your raise time, and I'm giving you a nickel. Now, I waited almost 5.5 years to get that nickel, and I just snapped. And I took the keys off my hip, I threw them up in my hand, and as hard as I could, I threw them and hit him right in the face. And I said, don't worry, I quit my job. I turned around, walked right out of his office, walked back into my bar, and I took all of my artwork, I took all of my distributors, I took all of my liquor deals, I took everything that I created and made. I took all of my bands, all of my entertainment, all of my karaoke, everything. It's all mine. And I started to walk out the door with it, and Keith stopped me, and he had blood coming down his face, and said, you can't take that, it's AMF stuff. And I said, excuse me, I said, AMF didn't want me to do that stuff here, so I did all that stuff at home. It's all my personal artwork. It does not belong to you. You find any of this artwork on your computer, you can have it. As a result, I almost crippled the bar because I walked out with everything that I started and I created. It took him 6 months, almost a year, to recover from losing me. So is that a proper way to handle it? No. Recently, I've worked for the captain's quarters, and the boss that took over there, she lied to me. I was supposed to get a job working in the local gecko itself, and they kept telling me for months and months and months, there's no spot over there, there's no spot over there, there's no spot over there. They put me down in level 6, which I call a dungeon, because there's nothing down there and there's no money to be made. And I had way too much talent, too much energy, and too much charisma not to be out in the public eye. So one of the ladies that had quit turned around the same night. I had a meeting with the general manager and the bar manager, and they both looked me in the face and said, I'm sorry, but there is not a spot there. That night I go home and I look on Facebook, and the lady that just up and quit for no reason at all not only got a job there, got it in the local gecko, and now is a manager there. And that should have been mine. So if I can't trust you as a boss, I don't want to work for you, and I'm very disgruntled. So I just up and quit my job and walked out. Now, because I work there, I know how many employees are very disgruntled, and I know how much work does and does not get done, and I know the attitude that they have. And as a boss, I don't think that's right. My employees could come to me, talk to me about anything. We had a friendship as well as a mutual respect. And no, I didn't let them run roughshod over me. No, I didn't let them slack off. They did their job, and they know that's all you got to do. Just do what you're supposed to do. I shouldn't have to babysit you 24 hours a day, whether I'm your boss or not. If you get in a jam, you need help, I believe in being a working boss. You pitch in and you help them. Your employees will respect you a lot more, and they will do a lot more for you, knowing that when those chips are down, you'll roll up your sleeves and get dirty with them and get the job done. So many of them, well, it's not my problem. Figure it out yourself. Just make sure you get it done. No, you're a boss. And as a boss, it's your responsibility to make sure it's also done. And if that means you getting dirty, then you get dirty. Have a heart. Listen to your employees. Let them talk to you and don't let it just go in one ear and out the other. Hear what they've got to say. Put a customer complaint box up, or put an employee complaint box up, and let them, put their grievances in there. Now, if you're going to see the same grievance all the time, then you know there's a problem with it. Now, if you see one grievance that's just really minor and petty and you never see it again, yes, it's a small problem, but let's address the big ones first. There are complaints all over every plant, every restaurant, every hotel, every place, every bar, every business I've ever seen. There are complaints by employees because employers do not listen and do not try and make anything better. I want nothing more to see people actually go to work and enjoy their jobs. Happy people, they don't want to commit murder, they don't want to go get drunk, they don't want to get on drugs, they don't want to do assaults, they want to make that money, they want to bring that cheese home, they want to have a good life, they want to spend it on their spouses and their friends and do whatever. But it's about the cheese. When you go to work and you bust your ass for 40 hours and you think about that, 40 hours you bust your ass and you come home with a paycheck that's $200. How many people can live on that a week? How many? Every family, one person can barely live on it. Your rent alone will kill it. And yet there's no other way to, get an employer to appreciate what you do for them. They need to experience living in your world on your paycheck and bust their ass as hard as you do, so that when they go back to their big stature and their normal life, they'll remember what it was like down there and they will help you up. Yes, you busted your butt. You've earned this. Here, this is a $2.50 raise. There's other ones that do slack off. They don't do nothing. Sure, don't give them a big raise. They didn't earn it. But there's a lot of good employees out there. There were some great employees at Captain's Quarters. And a lot of them, yes, they have been promoted and they deserved it. And I'm happy for them in all shapes and forms. And there's some of them that should not have ever been working there and still shouldn't be working there today. When you have a boss that's on a power trip, short, just mean, full of makeup, you can't have happiness and harmony in a workplace, in a work environment like that. I live in an area where tourists are the biggest attraction and the most money for 16 weeks out of the year. And the 7 to 10 million people that float in and out to where I'm at are what keeps the beach alive. And yet I see hotels and employees treat these customers like crap. Now, these customers, they rent your room, they eat your food, they drink your liquors that are there, they pay for all of that, and in return it pays all your bills, and it pays the bills to the hotel, it pays the manager's bills, and it just works its way on up the line. So when one's not doing their job down here, everybody suffers. So if he's not doing his job, then find out what's wrong. Maybe it's something he's not cut out for, or he's just honestly has a problem and he can't do it. Help him and work with him. If there's not an answer, then try and move him to another spot. Doesn't mean he's not a good worker. That's just not the position for him. Get to know people. You'll learn their talents. I have helped many people find their way in life by their talent that they have, because everybody is capable of doing something extraordinary. They may not know what it is. Sometimes it takes an impartial person to just sit back and say, wow, this is what your gift is, and let me show you. Don't put them down for their faults. Show them their faults, but show them a different way to do it. Don't make them feel like, oh, you're so stupid, that's not the way it's supposed to be done. No. Here, that's one way to do it, but let me show you how to do it this way. See how much more efficient it is? It's a little faster. They'll blend a little bit what you taught them with a little bit of who they are, and it'll work out better for them and more productive for you, which makes everybody happy again. I've seen bartenders that had no right to be behind a bar in any way, shape, or form since I've been down here, that I've seen customers wait 25, 30 minutes to get a drink. And not because the bar was full, because he was talking to somebody else and watching sports. You don't want a job and that's what you want to do? Get the fuck out. Let's find somebody else that wants a job. I'm trying to make production and make money and build a business. And people don't see that. I'm a no-nonsense kind of guy, and I'm a good boss. And if anybody ever down the road here in my life were to hire me again to be a boss, they would make a serious upgrading their life, because I know how to get people to work and I know how to get production out. And in doing so, I do it without having turmoil, and I have friends. And it's not about a popularity contest, and I understand that, but when they feel like they can trust you and they can talk to you and they can come to you, they're more apt in every way, shape, and form to work harder for you. So if you can, in the future, appreciate the people that work and bust their ass for you and give you a life that you're accustomed to. I know we're little people and we're working our way up the chain, but in order for you to have gotten up that chain, you had to start down here, and somebody recognized you and pulled you up, and then you forgot what being down here was like. Look back down. You'll see the good workers. You'll see your employees that give 150%. Reach down and grab them, pull them up, and give them an opportunity at something else that's even better. And if they do good, then reach down and pull them up again. And the higher you pull them, the more production, the more better you're going to be, and the more stable your business is. You know, people don't work for free. We have bills. We want a life. We want to do things too. So show us that you appreciate us, and we'll appreciate you back. Don't be the I know everything kind of boss and do it my way. The person that works the job, that does it every solitary day, will have more of an idea of what the job needs, how it can be more efficient, and how it can be run in a better manner if you just listen to them. Yes, you're the boss. Yes, you might have to invest a little bit of money into it, but when you make that $10,000 or $50,000 investment and it's paid off in 3 years down the road, and then for the next 20 you're making profit off of it, you're doing good. You have to invest a little bit of money to make a little bit of money. You have to upkeep your business. You have to upkeep, whether it's a limo service, whether you're a prostitute, whether you're a boxer, whether you run a hotel, whether you do retail sales, whether you do auto detailing. It doesn't matter. Whatever you have to, whatever you do in life, you always have to do upgrades to keep up with the times and to make things better, make them more faster and more efficient. And with technology today, man has found a way to make things so much easier to do almost in every aspect of life. So listen to your employee. Listen to what he's got to say and take it to heart. He's only doing it to make his job easier on him, yes, but your job more productive, and as a result, you make more money. And that's a win-win situation in my book. I thank everybody for listening to this, and I ask that you sincerely take it to heart that anybody can be a boss. It's no big deal. But being a leader, there are very few of them out there. And my hat is off to the ones that are. One in particular I'd like to name is a man named Jay, and he works for Atlantic Packaging. My hat is off to him. From what I've heard, was just an amazing transition into a boss that just produced and produced and produced, and have employees that respect him, come to him, talk to him, and with the open door policy that I believe every employer and employee should have. So thank you very much for your time, your understanding, and I hope that this video makes a difference for somebody's life. And if you're feeling like you're being treated bad at work, stand up for yourself. No one else is going to do it for you. Instead of complaining and griping, go forward and say something. And if it doesn't work, there are a lot of jobs out there today, and it's not that hard to go find one. Go find a new job and get out of that situation, because you're never going to go anywhere. You're just going to sit and spin your wheels in the mud, and you don't deserve that. And to all you employers, if they do come to you, listen to what they've got to say. If it's someone that gripes every 5 minutes, that's different. But when you have somebody that comes to you after 5 years with a legitimate gripe about something, listen to him, because he doesn't gripe all the time, so he obviously has a complaint. Address it, fix it, and watch the difference it'll make. I thank you for watching this video. Everybody have a great afternoon. God bless. Bye-bye.